Good morning, students. Today we are moving to part 3 of chapter 15, Drainage System. Hope you remember the previous topics. In the beginning, we were discussing about the difference between the river basin and water divide. The drainage system of India, that's divided into two, Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers, and the causes of the river system. And we in detail we have discussed yesterday about Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. Now today we are moving to the last topic, that is lakes and river pollution. Come to page number 119. First heading, lakes. What do you mean by lakes? This collection of water. There are many lakes in India. Freshwater lakes are found more in the Himalayan region. Most of the lakes contain water during rainy season. In Kashmir, glacial lakes are formed because of the accumulation of ice. Glacial lakes are formed. A few lakes are formed due to wind, rivers, and human action. In rivers having many meanders, oxbow lakes are formed. Sea tides have created lagoon lakes. For example, Chilka, Koleru and Pulicat are examples of lagoon lakes. Sambar Lake is in Rajasthan is a saline lake or salt water lake. This lake, from this lake we get salt, or salt is produced from here. See, this is Oxbow Lake. See the picture here. You will see the shape of a oxbow, how lakes are formed. This type of lakes are also there. Next one is Chilka Lake, that is in Odisha. You have seen Chilka Lake is an example for lagoon lake. And in Jaipur you will see Sambar Lake. Sambar Lake where salt is produced. Salt water lakes. In Himalaya we will find many freshwater lakes. These freshwater lakes are formed because of the glacial action. Water will fill this lake due to the depression, and later it will change into the form of a lake. Beautiful lakes are formed here due to melting of snow. Bular Lake in Kashmir has a tectonic origin. Other freshwater lakes are Dal Lake, Bhimdal Lake, Loktal Lake and Badapani. Please underline the freshwater lake. Here you will see two type of lakes which we are having, that is freshwater lake and saltwater lake. Freshwater lake we are having examples of Dal Lake, Bhimdal Lake, Loktal Lake, Badapani. These all are example of freshwater lakes. Whereas Sambar Lake is an example for saltwater lake. In this picture you will be able to see the beautiful Dal Lake of Srinagar. What is the importance of these lakes? These lakes are very useful to man in many ways. How these lakes are useful? Some rivers have originated from lakes. In the region which have more rain, more water will be accumulated in the lakes. The accumulated water can be utilized for irrigation and other purposes. The stored water can also be used during drought, summer season. Reservoirs and lakes formed due to dam are useful for generating tidal power, hydroelectric energy. Few lakes enhance the natural beauty, hence such lakes have been developed as tourist spots. Lakes are also important for fishery and tourist resorts or tourist purposes. What are the economic importance of rivers? From the very beginning, rivers have a big connection with human history. Rivers are the natural reservoir of water. There are these are very much important for many human activities. For example, for agriculture, for developing agriculture, industries, we are using water from the rivers. Our famous ancient civilization, Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, have flourished on the bank of rivers. Many cities have developed on the bank of the rivers. For example, Delhi on the bank of river Yamuna, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Bharuch, Surat, etc. are examples. River is considered to be the base for an agrarian country. Agrarian country means a country which is depending on agriculture. In recent times, river water is utilized for drinking, irrigation, hydel power and for navigation, transportation. Without water, what we can do? Can we do anything? No, life is not possible without water. So rivers are having a great importance in our life. Next important topic is river pollution. In the previous section, we have seen river is very important or water is very important for us. So another one source of water is river water. This water, when we are polluting, what will happen? River water is used more in domestic activities, agriculture and in industrial production. Underline the next line. Rivers are known as Lokmata. Please underline. The rivers are known as Lokmata. Considered it is to be very holy, and yet we release industrial effluent waste, industrial waste in the rivers. हमारे लिए इंडियन कल्चर के लिए रिवर, वी कंसिडर रिवर एज लोक माता, और ये हमारा भगवान के ऊपर हम कचरा डाल रहे हैं, है ना. वी रिलीज इंडस्ट्रियल एफ्लुएंस इनटू रिवर, इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट. हमारा सीवेज वाटर where we are dumping, especially in cities, the sewage water is dumped into the river near the city. For example, near to our Ratri Bazaar, that bridge is there. Stand on the bridge and see the underside. ब्रिज के नीचे वाला पोर्शन में आप देखना है, हमारा सिटी का सीवेज वाटर directly it is flowing into our Vishwamitri river. This is the best example I can show you. Besides, we also throw solid waste in the river. हमारा घर का कचरा हम किधर फेंकते हैं? रिवर में, है ना. As a result, what happened? The river water is polluted. Thus, water pollution increases due to industrialization and urbanization. Pollution of river water has become our national problem. Government is putting in special efforts to prevent river pollution. River pollution कम करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट बहुत ट्राई कर रहे हैं. At this stage, public participation is equally expected along with the government's effort. Can government do anything alone? नरेंद्र मोदी वहाँ बैठकर बोल रहे पानी में कचरा मत डालो, विश्वामित्री में मत डालो, और हम लोग क्या करता है? फुल कचरा उधर फेंकता है, सीवेज वाटर उधर डालता है, कचरा उधर डालता है, सीवेज वाटर रिवर में डालता है, विश्वामित्री में डालता है. What, can government do anything by themselves? No, they want the participation of we public. हमारा हेल्प उनको चाहिए, अदरवाइज गवर्नमेंट का एफर्ट सब पानी में. Rivers are called Lokmata. Why rivers are known as Lokmata? Because rivers are inseparable part of our life. हमारा life का inseparable part है life, पानी and river. Rivers carry various minerals dissolved with them and hence turn the land mass fertile. River mouth where fresh water of the river merges with the saline water is the largest bioprotective area. Many major cities develop across the river. People are dependent on rivers for various activities like cattle rearing, agriculture, etc. River also serve as an important medium for transport, tourist attraction, trade and commerce. Dams are constructed across the river which help in irrigation and hydroelectric production. Due to all these important benefits, rivers are considered to be the lifeline of human civilization, or rivers are called as Lokmata. Very important topic in 9th standard as well as in 10th standard. What are the different measures to prevent water pollution? Strict rules should be implemented to prevent water and the river water pollution. देयर शुड बी स्ट्रिक्ट रूल्स. आपने देखा होगा 2-3 महीने पहले हमारा विश्वामित्री में कुछ खाना सबका वेस्ट इकट्ठा करके जो फेंका उसको पकड़ा था और उसको पनिशमेंट फाइन भी दिया था. तो जैसा ही स्ट्रिक्ट रूल्स हमारे पास होना चाहिए. Water purification project must be implemented through National River Conservation Project. There is a new organization under Government of India is National River Conservation Project. Their main aim is to purify the impure water which is coming to river water. Strict rules should be formed to prevent industrial units from releasing industrial effluents in the rivers. Effluent means waste. Industrial waste जो river में जो फेंकता है वो लोग को पकड़ के उनको बराबर पनिशमेंट देना पड़ेगा. एक्चुअली रूल्स ऐसा है कि केमिकल्स रिलीज़ करने के पहले उसके ट्रीटमेंट करके फेंकना पड़ता है. If they are not doing that way, that is very costliest way for them. So they will be doing it without removing the chemicals. So the government should fine them, punish those who are releasing industrial waste into the river. Industrial units should filter harmful elements from the chemicals or polluted industrial water before releasing them in the river. Citizens should not throw waste in the river or any other source of water. हमारा तालाब में या रिवर में कचरा नहीं फेंकना है. Villagers should not wash their animals or release fecal matter in the river. Village people, they used to wash their animals, wash their clothes, wash their vessels on the bank of river. Stop doing this type of thing. At the same time, stop releasing fecal matter in the river. What do you mean by fecal matters? That is the solid excretory product excavated from the bowels or body waste, that is called a fecal matters. That is a waste matter. वो हमारा बॉडी में से जो वेस्ट मैटर डिस्चार्ज करता है वो नदी में नहीं फेंकना है. People should not release domestic waste into the river. What is domestic waste? That is the waste which is generated as a result of the ordinary day-to-day use of our premises. For example, combustible materials such as paper, cardboard, wood. हाँ, ऐसा आइटम्स हमारा काम का जो नहीं है, हम जो वेस्ट मटेरियल्स है उसको हम डोमेस्टिक वेस्ट बोलते हैं. तो दिस टाइप ऑफ आइटम्स आर ऑल्सो नॉट सपोज टू पुट इन टू द रिवर. Government has started a project called NCRP, as I told you earlier, National River Conservation Project. The main aim of this NCRP is purification of rivers. This project was introduced at the second stage of Ganga River Purification Project. More such projects should be initiated and properly implemented. This clip is an example to show how our water is getting polluted because of the waste sent by we people. Many a time we people have done different types of competition on save water project and all. It is just not for the sake of giving us a competition, but we should practice it is part of our life, because water is the most essential thing for the life of a human being. It is our duty to save the water. Now, my dear children, we are moving to the worksheet, final worksheet of this chapter. Question number 1, page 120. Please come to page 120. Section 1, question 1, 2 and 5 we have done in the previous 2 videos. Today we will be explaining about question number 3, section 1, that is write short answer on the utility of lakes. Explain the utility of lakes. For that, please come to page number 119. Second heading, importance of lakes. Full paragraph you are supposed to write. Clear? Now, question number 4. State the remedies to prevent water pollution. Page number 120, 120. There is only one paragraph. That is the answer. Measures to prevent water pollution. Clear? Now, question number 5 already we have done in the second video. Section 2, answer the following questions. All the questions we have done in the second video. Now, question number 3, section 3, find out the correct option from the given options. Both this question I have written in the form of answer in one word. Okay? All the answers I have given there. Now, in the next class, we will be discussing about our with the map book. So, please get ready with the map book in the next class. Okay? According our map book, Vikas map book or Navneet map book we will be using. So, in the next class, get ready with that, and you should have 2 or 3 copies of maps with you, map of India with you. With this we come to the end of the notebook exercises. Once again I am repeating how to write the notes. First we will be writing the main points. Then we will be writing the question answers at the back of the textbook. After that, you will write extra 15 fill in the blanks, yeah, MCQs, yeah, answer in one word which is convenient for you. I want extra questions. Okay? Then we want 3 maths that we will discuss in the next video. After that, you should paste it into the notebook. Now I am having 2 videos which will help you to make the ideas little bit more clear for you. Enjoy both the videos and understand it. Till then, stay safe.
In this video, we shall learn about some more important rivers of India. In the southern part of India, the important eastward flowing rivers are River Pennar, River Palar, River Ponnayar, River Kaveri, and River Vaigai. River Kaveri is the most important river of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. This river is 765 kilometers long and it originates from Talakaveri, Kodagu in Karnataka. The important tributaries of River Kaveri are Hemavati, Shimsha, Arkavati, Kabini, Bhavani, Noyal, and Amravati. In Kerala, the most important river is River Periyar. This river is 244 kilometers long. Coming to the central part of India, we have River Narmada. It is the longest westward flowing river of India. This river is 1312 kilometers long. River Narmada originates from Amarkantak Plateau near Maikal Range. It is the 5th longest river in the Indian subcontinent and the 3rd longest river that entirely flows within India after River Godavari and River Krishna. This river lies between 2 mountain ranges, that is Vindhya Range and the Satpura Range. So we can say River Narmada flows through a narrow gorge that is formed between these 2 mountain ranges. River Narmada is regarded as the lifeline of Madhya Pradesh. The important tributaries of River Narmada are Burhaner, Banjar, Sher, Shakhar, Tawa, Kolar, and River Orsang. River Tapi is the 2nd longest westward flowing river of India. This river originates from Mahadev Hills near Multai. This river is 724 kilometers long. The important tributaries of River Tapi are Purna, Girna, and River Panjra. River Mahi and River Sabarmati are other important rivers of Gujarat. River Mahi originates from Vindhya Range. River Luni is an important river of Rajasthan. Both River Sabarmati and River Luni originates from Aravalli Range. We have already learned that River Mahanadi is an important river of Chhattisgarh and Odisha. The other important rivers of Odisha are River Brahmani and River Baitarni. River Subarnarekha flows through Jharkhand, Odisha and West Bengal. The important westward flowing rivers originating from Western Ghat are River Vaitarna, Ulhas, Savitri, and Vashishti from Maharashtra, River Mandovi and River Zuari from Goa, River Shravati from Karnataka, and Bharatapuzha is the second most important river in Kerala. Lakes in India. Now, what is a lake? A lake is a beautiful area filled with water. Broadly speaking, the lakes can be classified as freshwater lakes and saltwater lakes. Almost all the saltwater lakes are natural, but when it comes to freshwater lakes, they can be natural and man-made. Again, when we talk about natural freshwater lakes, they can be classified as glacial, tectonic, crater, and oxbow lakes. On the other hand, the man-made lakes are mainly reservoirs of the dams that are built across a river. Sometimes a lake is created by building up an embankment. So we shall see the names of all the lakes one by one. First, we shall have a glance at the saltwater lakes of India. So the first one is Chilka Lake. Chilka Lake is the largest saltwater lake of India. The water is brackish. Brackish means it is salty, but not as salty as the sea water. Second, this lake is a lagoon. Lagoon means a small body of water which is separated from a large body of water by a thin strip of land. And here this lake is separated from the Bay of Bengal by a thin strip of land. But the water of Bay of Bengal mixes with it. That's why the water is brackish. This lake is spread over the districts of Puri, Khurda, and Ganjam in Odisha. And it lies at the mouth of the river Daya. So it is the largest coastal lagoon in India and the second largest brackish water lagoon in the world after the New Caledonian Barrier Reef, which lies in the South Pacific Ocean. Chilka Lake is also a home to the only known population of Irrawaddy dolphins in India. Then comes Pulicat Lake. It is the second largest saline water lake in India and it lies at the border of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. And even this lake is a lagoon. This lake encompasses the Pulicat Lake Bird Sanctuary. The barrier island of Sriharikota separates the lake from Bay of Bengal and is a home of the Satish Dhawan Space Center. Major part of the lake comes under Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh. Then we come to Kerala. Here we have Vembanad Lake. It is the longest brackish water lake in India and the largest lake in the state of Kerala. Then we come to Maharashtra. Here we have Lonar Lake. This is again a saltwater lake. It is actually a crater lake and it lies in the Buldana district of Maharashtra. Crater lakes are formed whenever there is a fall of meteor. It is a National Geoheritage Monument of India and the lake is both saline and alkaline in nature and famous for wide range of plants and animals. The next we come to Rajasthan. Here we have Sambhar Lake. It is the largest inland saltwater lake in India. It is again a natural lake and an extensive saline wetland. It is designated as Ramaswar site due to thousands of pink flamingos and waterfowl birds. Then it is Panchpadra Lake in Barmer district of Rajasthan. This is again a saltwater lake. It lies near Panchpadra village, and it is one of the most famous attraction of Barmer and attracts migratory birds in India. Next, we go to the northern part of India. We have Pangong Tso of Ladakh. It is again a saltwater lake situated at a height of about 4,350 meters in Himalayas. The lake is an important breeding ground for again a variety of birds. Now we come to artificial lakes or man-made lakes. First one is, and we have seen that the man-made lakes are reservoirs of dams. So first one is Govind Sagar. Now Govind Sagar Lake is a reservoir situated in the Bilaspur district of Himachal Pradesh, and it is formed by the Bhakra Dam. So it is an artificial freshwater lake in Himachal Pradesh and built on the river Satluj. Next is Indira Sagar Lake. It is the second largest freshwater lake in India, built on Indira Sagar Dam on the river Narmada. It lies in the state of Madhya Pradesh, and it is named after the late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Next, the Sardar Sarovar Lake. It is a freshwater lake built on the river Narmada on Sardar Sarovar Dam. It provides water to 4 states, that is Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Rajasthan. Next, we come to Maharashtra. It is Shivaji Sagar Lake, and it is the largest artificial freshwater lake in India. It is a water reservoir built on Koyna Dam on Koyna River, and it is located near Mahabaleshwar. Then it is Nath Sagar. Now Nath Sagar is built on Jaikwadi Dam, and Jaikwadi Dam is fed by river Godavari and Pravara. Then it is Nagarjun Sagar Lake. It is again a freshwater reservoir formed by Nagarjun Sagar Dam built on the river Krishna in Andhra Pradesh. Then it is Debar Lake. Debar Lake is located in Udaipur district, Rajasthan. It is one of the oldest freshwater lake built in the 17th century. It gets its water from Gomati River. Now we know that there is a river Gomati that is a tributary of Ganga and joins Ganga from the north. But here in Rajasthan, again we have a Gomati River. This is a small river, and it originates in the hills of central Udaipur districts, flowing south to join Som River in the southern part of the district. So that was Debar Lake in Udaipur district of Rajasthan. Then it is Bhopal Lake. When you go to Bhopal, actually there are 2 lakes, and it is called Upper and Lower Lake. The upper lake is now known as the Bhojtal Lake. Then we come to the natural lakes of India, and the first one is Wular Lake. Wular Lake is the largest natural freshwater lake in India, and it receives water from Jhelum River. It is formed by tectonic activity, so it is a tectonic lake. Now, what is a tectonic lake? For that, you should understand what are tectonic plates. The lithosphere, which is the rigid outmost shell of the planet, which is made up of crust and upper mantle, is broken into plates, and these are tectonic plates. The movement of these plates lead to the deformation and results in lateral and vertical movements of the earth crust. And these movements include faulting, tilting, folding, wrapping, etc. So, Wular Lake is a result of tectonic activities. Next is Dal Lake. Dal Lake lies in Srinagar. Actually, Srinagar is surrounding Dal Lake. It is a glacial lake. Now, what is a glacier? Glacier is a huge mass of moving ice. Now, these lakes are formed when a glacier erodes the land and then melts, filling the depression created by the glacier. After Dal Lake, we come to Manipur, and here we have Loktek Lake. It is the largest freshwater lake in northeastern part of India, and is famous for Fumdis. Fumdis are a kind of floating islands. They are made up of heterogeneous mass of vegetation, soil, and organic matter at various stages of decomposition. The lake is located at Morang in Manipur. Now, in this Fumdi, that is floating island, we have Kebul Lamjaw National Park. It is the only floating national park in the world, and it is very famous for Sanghai deers, that is Manipur brow antlered deers. Next, it is Koleru Lake. Koleru Lake is Asia's largest shallow freshwater lake. Now, this lake also has an island named Kolletikotta. Then we talk about Oxbow lakes. Oxbow lakes are formed with rivers that meander. So, these meandering rivers change their path every year, and so Oxbow lakes are formed. So, we have Vinthala Lake, which is a natural oxbow lake found in Vinthala near Mala, which lies in Thrissur district of Kerala. It was formed from a cutoff of the Chalakudi river which flows near it. The lake is considered to be the only one naturally formed oxbow lake in the whole of South India. We go to north, we have Kanwar Lake. It is located in Bengusarai district of Bihar, and it is Asia's largest freshwater oxbow lake. And this place became a bird sanctuary, that is Kanwar Bird Sanctuary, in 1987. Thank you.